Do you fear dying? Are you struggling to let go of a loved one who passed away? Let me share a story from the Bible that shows how Jesus transforms our darkest moments into hope. In John 11, we meet Lazarus, a man who was loved by Jesus. Lazarus became very sick, and his sisters, Mary and Martha, sent a message to Jesus, asking him to come quickly. They believed Jesus could heal him, but instead of rushing to their side, Jesus waited 2 more days before leaving. By the time he arrived, Lazarus had already been in the tomb for 4 days. Can you imagine the heartbreak? Martha met Jesus on the road, her eyes filled with tears, and said, "Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died." It's a cry of pain and confusion, one we can all relate to when we feel like God isn't answering in time. But Jesus looked at her with compassion and said, "Your brother will rise again." Martha thought he was talking about the distant future, about the resurrection at the end of time. But then Jesus said something revolutionary. "I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live, even though they die. And whoever lives by believing in me will never die." Do you believe this? Jesus wasn't just offering a promise for the future. He was bringing hope to the present. Then he did the unthinkable. He walked to the tomb, surrounded by mourners, and asked them to roll the stone away. Martha hesitated, saying there would be a terrible smell. But Jesus reminded her, "Did I not tell you that if you believe, you will see the glory of God?" With everyone watching, Jesus prayed to his Father and then shouted, "Lazarus, come out." And Lazarus walked out of that grave, alive and well. This moment wasn't just a miracle for Lazarus and his family. It was a declaration of Jesus' power over death. It showed that death doesn't have the final say. Through Jesus, life wins. Now let's think about what this means for us. We all fear death at some level, whether it's the thought of leaving loved ones behind or the uncertainty of what comes next. But Jesus' words remind us that death is not the end for those who believe in him. He doesn't just promise life after death. He promises eternal life with him, free from pain, fear, and sorrow. The story of Lazarus gives us a glimpse of what Jesus has in store for us. Just as he called Lazarus out of the grave, he will one day call us into eternal life. This is why Paul could write in 1 Corinthians 15:55, "Where, O death, is your victory? Where, O death, is your sting?" Jesus has taken away death's power. If you're afraid of death, remember this. Jesus didn't just cry with Mary and Martha. He acted. He didn't just mourn Lazarus' death. He reversed it. And through his own death and resurrection, he gave us the ultimate victory over the grave. So what should we fear? Jesus promises that for those who believe in him, death is not the end. It's the beginning of a new and eternal life with him. If this resonates with you, type "I trust Jesus" in the comments to declare your faith in his promise. Share this with someone who needs to hear that death is not the end. With Jesus, fear fades, hope rises, and life has the final say.